welcome back to my channel. I'm eca.fairy and in today's video I am helping you achieve a summer vacation that will look like this, and like this. This is going to be straight out of your Pinterest board and it's going to be fun, exciting and full of really beautiful places. One of the most aesthetic places that I have ever visited was Costa Brava. I went there last summer and today I'm sharing with you all the important details from accommodation to the places where you're going to be able to get such beautiful, surreal pictures. First of all, when we went, we booked our accommodation in Malgrat de Mar, which is on the smaller side compared to the other festival cities that are next to it. However, that also meant that it was really not busy. Beaches especially were not crowded at all, no matter the time of the day. You could also rent sun chairs and umbrellas, but we didn't because we really wanted to get the feel and we just sat on the sand. Another thing before I give you a hotel recommendation is the fact that you are not going to really be able to find nightlife, at least when we went, like maybe 1 or 2 clubs maximum, and they weren't necessarily like those really huge Spanish parties that you see on TikTok right now. So if that's what you are expecting, Lloret de Mar and other cities next to Malgrat de Mar are going to offer much more of that compared to Malgrat, as I was saying, which is quieter. Now, for the accommodation, if you're going on Costa Brava and you want to see especially like this side that I'm going to be describing to you, I recommend you to book the Aqua Hotel Silhouette and Spa. We were not expecting it to be this luxurious and this beautiful because we weren't going to spend like any time inside the hotel. The hotel wasn't necessarily such a big priority, if you get what I mean. However, we had an immensely beautiful surprise because it was perfect. And I'm talking pillow mints, Nutella dispenser, like actual Nutella dispenser at breakfast that you could get refills out of for your pancakes and for your churros and for literally everything. And this one is going to be very specific. They didn't have just any coffee machine, but Nespresso. They also had, this was at dinner time, fresh ice cream that you could just select from a cart. Besides the like 5 or even more types of cakes that they would have every single night, they also had a Mexican night and they had tortilla and nachos, and it was really great. And by the way, this is also where I ate the best paella that I have ever personally tried, and I have visited Spain before. It was so good that I actually asked the kitchen for the recipe because I had to make it. Now, obviously, I still haven't made it. I promise you this video is not going to turn into me just worshipping this hotel. However, you do have to know that it also has a spa and it is almost like fully black. It's so dark and so moody and just great. And guessed it right, the pool is also black, and it also has a few types of sauna. And this, if you're going for a really relaxing and also therapeutic time, that is your place. We only went to the sauna once because it was free in our reservation, but I think you do have to pay for like more than 2 hours. And now let's get into achieving your Pinterest board. And we are going straight in with one of the most beautiful gardens that I have seen in my entire life. They look like we were just walking through the gardens of an Italian villa. This is Jardin de Santa Clotilde. It is located in Lloret de Mar. I really hope I'm not butchering any of these names. However, if I do, I'm sorry. These gardens were manicured to perfection, and if the walls of flowers and pretty trees weren't enough, most of the panoramic view was of the sea. We literally felt like we were in a movie. It was so beautiful, magical. Literally, the water was that kind of blue that you only see in movies, and it was so quiet and serene. There were literally no people when we went, and no, the access to it is not necessarily difficult. You do have to walk like up an incline, but it's not even close to hiking. I was wearing some sort of like really small heels, but still heels, and I had no issue walking up to there, walking through the gardens. So don't worry, you can wear your prettiest shoes and take the prettiest pictures. However, it was extremely hot outside, so do pack water, and I mean lots of it. We also went on Playa de Sabadea, I think it's pronounced. Pretty. You can walk next to these really huge marine stones. Also, here we saw Iglesia de San Román, which was really fascinating architecturally speaking. I wasn't expecting this type of architecture to be in, you know, such a small city. On the street right next to the beach, you have this kind of really beautiful place. Before we reach our next destination, which is going to be Blanes, I also want to mention that in Malgrad, the place that we stayed, and I was also advising you to stay, they have a dog beach, which means that you can bring your furry friends worry-free. Next up, we are making a stop in Blanes, where we are going to be seeing this extremely beautiful, unique gazebo that I have seen nobody talk about online before we went. I've only started seeing people talk about it this year. However, last year I really did my research in the area and I didn't find any videos talking about this place. In order to reach this photo spot that, by the way, people are queuing up for, just as you expect, the botanical gardens are extremely informative but also really beautiful. And are you kidding me? You cannot miss this place because look at this panoramic view. And yeah, by the way, that's me. As I was saying, this place is also truly magical. Flora is definitely special. Like, look at these water lilies. I have never seen such beautiful ones in real life, only in paintings. As the really diverse plants, they are also offering so many picture spots. It's also important for here to bring water with you and also your patience, because when we went, the queue was pretty long. One of the best and tested tips that I can give you for this coastal area is to book a boat trip. You can either book the sort of trip that takes you somewhere and then you return, but we booked, and that was the best choice, that sort of bus boat thing where you can get off at any stop just like the bus, and we left in the morning. We got off at the last stop, which was Tossa de Mar. We visited, and I'm going to tell you in a bit what, and then I think it was about 4 o'clock when we queued up and took the boat back to Malgrad de Mar. The trip isn't necessarily too long, but it's long enough for you to be able to take really beautiful pictures, enjoy the view, and really feel like you're on vacation. This is one of the most estival things that you can do, in my opinion. It is also really relaxing and beautiful, and I just felt so connected to the sea and the nature, and the coastal views are just spectacular. Honestly, I feel like we would have missed out on half of the beauty of this area if we wouldn't have gotten the boat tour. Because yes, it's one thing seeing the things on the beach line, but seeing them from the sea, like looking at all these beautiful places, is something else. And by the way, we also saw the gazebo from the botanical gardens from the boat as well, which I thought was really cool. Like, and as you are going with the boat, you are also going to be able to see really beautiful beaches, and if one of them just catches your eye, get off at that beach, spend the day there, having seen a whole other place, and I think that's really great. In Tossa de Mar, there are so many beautiful streets, this kind of Mediterranean vibe, that really beautiful, quiet and relaxing places. But also what I advise you to visit is the lighthouse. The view is definitely extremely pretty. There were a lot of people visiting, and you can definitely see why, because it's extremely beautiful. Make sure to take a walk in Vila Vela, I think it's called. This is basically like the old part of a city, like the old castle that used to be the city before it expanded. It is filled with history, and again, the amazing panoramic view of the sea, just mind-blowing. And make sure to also explore the outer walls of the castle, because you might be otherwise missing out on this type of view, which is again breathtaking. We went around middle of August, and they also had the local days in Malgrad de Mar, and they had really pretty perfume shops set up. They were handmade by this really nice lady, and we got some because they smelled so good, and it's like a small souvenir to remind you of the place. As for shopping, I couldn't quite give you any pointers because we didn't do much of that, as I was saying, besides getting some local perfume. All in all, leave any other questions in the comment section below, and I will make sure to do my best to answer all of them. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you're going to have fun and that this video inspired you to go visit Costa Brava, and I'll see you fairies next time. Bye!